honored to be among the chosen people, which is also how I was raised. And I'm happy, in particular, well, everyone here is great, all of the writers, and probably just about all of you in the audience, but I was very happy to read after Glenn, with whom I share an alma mater of Wesleyan University, and we haven't talked about Kit Reed's class. I was also in Kit Reed's class in the living room, 6 people. Let's talk about that later, though. I have a novel that will be out next year, and I'm going to read from that. It's the first time I'm reading from it. Gwen is one of the characters. She is a teenage girl, and she has been caught shoplifting, and as punishment she has to work volunteer at a senior center where she's going to be the companion of a man, older gentleman named Errol. She's being brought into the room by Manny, who's one of the orderlies there. Gwen and Errol will later, and Manny, will all steal a boat and commit acts of piracy in the San Francisco Bay. But this is when they're just getting together. From around the corner, Gwen could hear a loud, scraped voice saying, "Razin! Razin! Razin! Razin!" Each time like it was starting all over, and she rounded that corner and she was led through that door, and "Razin! Razin! Razin!" was what he was saying when they found each other. "Errol," Manny said. Errol looked up from his chair, which he had moved closer to the sun. Gwen could see its wake across the bad rug. He had a plastic tray across his knees like an airline passenger, and on the tray was an overturned bowl and a small mountain of cereal he was picking through. The raisins were isolated in a line, as if they'd soon be marched off. Gwen was relieved. It was not crazy to pick out the raisins. She hoped it wasn't. "Cereal for lunch is ridiculous," he said to Manny, as if an argument were already in progress. "You're fired." "You asked for cereal," Manny said, "and I don't work for you." "For breakfast, I thought it was. Curse me." "This is Gwen, Errol. I know who it is. She's volunteered to be your companion." "I know who it is," Errol said again. "Leave me alone if you're not going to help." This was, to Gwen, a very perfect sentence. Just the thing she thought all the time. Manny backed out of the room and they sized each other up. The air between them felt awkward and managed, as if they were estranged instead of being strangers. Gwen felt the familiar jitter, buzzy and smiley, of being next to old people. "How'd you get here?" Errol said finally. "My mom drove me." "No, I mean, which way did you take?" "We just took Hill Street." "Hill Street? No fucking kidding. I mean, I can't believe they called it Hill Street." "Uh-huh. It is an insult," Errol said with mild fury. "I guess I'll go my own way." "I guess so," Gwen said. "I don't know what that means." "It means, what do they teach you in school? Are you here for some kind of project?" "No, punishment." "Good, I'm glad. I don't like the school project things. You know you're going to die when they come at you with a tape recorder. Tell us about the Navy." "You want to know about the Navy?" "No." "Good. Are you here for some kind of project?" "Punishment," Gwen said again, but felt bad about it, and so added, "I'm your companion," which made it worse. That Errol didn't notice or forgot that he did notice. "What'd you do?" "Stole stuff." Errol was putting a pinch of cereal in his mouth, and now he coughed long and hard at it. Gwen took a step towards him, but no more. He coughed and coughed, but Gwen did not do anything and could not think what to do. "As I live and breathe," he said finally. "Are you okay? What did you steal?" "Candy, mostly." "That's just what I'd steal. Did you steal it from here?" "No, from the drugstore." "What did you steal?" "Candy, mostly." Errol stared at her for a moment and then grinned. "From where?" "The drugstore." "Did I ask you that?" "It's okay. I have a problem with my memory." "That's okay. It's not a big problem. I worry about it, though." "What's that, river?" "What river?" "The big one." "Mississippi?" "Not the Amazon, the one in Egypt." The Nile. That's it, senile. I made it up to remember. I worry about it though. I have a problem with my memory, but I used to remember everything, even when I was a kid. What do you think about that? Gwen could not think about that. Errol surely had always been old. Gwen could not imagine him younger than he was. I guess it's funny how life turns out, she tried. Not last I checked, Errol said with a snort. Razin! Razin! Want to help me? Gwen smiled. She felt as if something, a balloon, was untied from her and flitting toward the ceiling. She took another step forward and found a raisin. Raisin, she said. Raisin! Raisin. Raisin! Do you really want to know about the Navy? No. Good. Raisin. I hate talking into the microphones they bring around here. When I have something on my mind, I write the newspaper. I write them every day. Raisin. I know. Peggy told me. She's the lady of the place. That Peggy's fat. I don't like her. Me neither. Don't, he said deliberately, don't like her. Gwen started to answer, but Errol lifted his fist and slammed it down into the tray. Cereal went everywhere, and the bowl bounced off a wall to spin on the floor, clattering, 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 grumbling to a standstill. They looked at each other. Well, he said, as if he were telling her something that she, of course, knew already, I'm not going to do it for you. There was something about the quiet, perhaps of the crash before it, that stung Gwen's eyes, but she knelt down to try and sweep up. You don't have to do that, Errol barked. They have a staff. You're a companion, right? Yes, Gwen said, still on the ground, and Errol's eyes slowly fell on her and smiled. I know you, he said. Yes, Gwen said. Did you really steal things, Errol said. Did I ask you that already, or somebody else? No, I stole things, Gwen said. Errol laughed. Tell me all of it, he said. I want a complete account of all the treasure. Really? I'd be most happy. It was mostly candy. That's just what I'd steal. You want to read to me? Sure, okay. Errol pointed to a saggy shelf near where the bowl had fallen. Each step Gwen took toward it was a crunch of cereal. Treasure Island, Marauders, the Dark Schooner, Mutiny, Piracy, the Aquarians, the Sea Wolf, Captain Blood, Captain Black, Captain of the Black Flag, Marty, the Darkest Wind, Treasure Seekers, the Raid Upon the Waves, White Jacket, the Tempest, the Sea Witch. She had never heard of any of them. There were lots more. Gwen dubiously took out a book of poetry. Old people probably like poetry. I don't like it here, he said when she stood up again. It's not a big problem. I worry about it, though. What's that river? Senile, Gwen said very quietly, but Errol drooped even at the whisper of it. The sun seethed down on the back of his bald head and the strange curl of a bulge on his neck, which was pillowed with white hairs. Gwen hadn't expected it would be like this, but of course it would be. Even with a happy childhood, or naive is the word Glenn thinks for it, you'd slowly start to be embarrassed by everything in the world. And eventually the weight of all these things, years and years of burdens and rebukes, would just collapse in your lap like a bag of heavy water, and your shoulders would sag from carrying all of it, and of course your shirt would be too small, plaid, buttoned too high and too tight, and of course your shoes would be ugly in some way that was demanded of you by the keepers of your prison hallways, and of course your face, Errol's face, would show all this. Old in the land of the free, old and reined in with people punished to be your companion. These people, all these people like Errol herself, with their happiness stolen, every scrap of it cast off with nothing they wanted. Surely there was a way to steal some back. She opened the book. Oh, Captain, my Captain, she read uncertainly. No, 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 Errol said, pointing at the pirates on the shelf. Read me something else. Thank you.